Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Really exciting stuff as Pakistan announced their squads for the England and West Indies tours. We're going to go through all three format squads just because we have to. And I'm going to very briefly give my thoughts on each one as well. But before we get into that, you know what to do. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe button, of course. Hit the notification bell as well to get alerts to all new videos. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone's support. It's been amazing as well. And I'm just really looking forward to these matches coming up. Of course, we have England versus New Zealand and then England versus India. In between that, we've got the World Test Championship final and then Pakistan as well. I've got some good matches coming up against England and West Indies. So for anyone that doesn't know, Pakistan are going to be playing ODIs and T20s against England in July, and then later on, if I'm not mistaken, against West Indies, they're going to be playing T20s against West Indies. Five T20s and a few test matches as well. So we've got that's between July and August, those two. So really interesting to see how those go as well. Let's then delve into the Pakistan Test squad because I feel like this is where we need to start off. The most important format, the white. Well, I was about to say the white ball format, but it's a red ball format with the white clothing. So the biggest, I think, and the biggest news for me, and let's talk about some of the inclusions that might be surprising. Well, what do you think? I'm looking at, Yasir Shah is subject to fitness. Interesting to see whether he gets a game because Naman Ali's been bowling pretty well, but leg spinners can be very invaluable. In West Indies, some of the pitches are pretty dusty as well at times, so I wouldn't say they're huge turners, but spinners can be very effective on some of those tracks. But apart from that, I mean, Sajid Khan retains his place, only played one match. Sajid Shakil gets called up. That's a big one. Performed very well domestically. And, top order batsman. Interesting to see whether he gets agreed. Probably won't, but good to see him in the squad at least. Mohammad Abbas gets a recall. That's a really big one. He's played really well for Hampshire in the county championship so far this year. Not as well as someone like Carl Abbott, I guess, but who's probably outdone him slightly. But there was a couple of spells, I think a hat-trick as well in 6 wickets, just unbelievable spell that was. But in addition to that, he has had a pretty solid season so far for Hampshire here in the UK, and the conditions definitely do suit him. I mean, it's just, he's a line-length bowler, puts it on a spot, gets the ball to nibble. He's our Darren Stevens. No, I'm joking. He's a bit better than Darren Stevens, but Dan Stevens in UK conditions is a beast, by the way, for Kent. For anyone that doesn't know who that is, go and look him up. 45 years old, 190, and 45 years old and hit 190 the other day, and also has got, I think, over 500 wickets, something like that. So, yeah, unbelievable campaigner here in the UK in the county championship. But enough of that. Let's talk about the others. Then Horace Rolfe maintains his place in the Test squad despite not playing a single match. Interesting. Naseem Shah, that's a big inclusion back in. He's now fully fit. I don't know because everyone was very, very. I don't want to say everyone, but there was a large portion of people that were quite happy that he was quote unquote injured. I think he was injured because it just meant that one, he could get a bit of rest and some time to play domestic cricket, but two, some people actually thought he should get dropped as well after having a bit of a bad time in New Zealand. But in all fairness to him, before that he was playing well. So having 2 test matches and 1 poor series, it's not the end of the world for me. So hopefully he gets a go and we can see him against West Indies, where again there is a bit of purchase there for the quick. So let's see how he does. And then I think apart from that, I want to touch upon Abdullah Shafiq. I mean, very interesting. Hasn't really played much cricket. Hasn't really done too much. I'm not sure why he's been picked. Again, maybe just in the squad for the experience to kind of go out into the middle, have a bit of practice on the different surfaces because they think he's a long-term player for Pakistan, and also they think, he's someone who we want to kind of stick with us and go around the world and soak up conditions. We also have Dahani. I mean, that's a really interesting one as well. But again, in the squad for experience, I would assume. And then you've got the usual suspects, which I'm not going to talk about too much because they're pretty much, I mean, you expect it. Zaid Mahmood, for example, I think he again was in the squad. Whether he plays or not will be interesting. I'd like to see him get one game. Let's see. And the others, I mean, Safraz, I guess you might say is a surprise, not really backup wicketkeeper in there for the experience. ODI squad then. Let's go on to that. So this is, and it's worth noting as well, as you probably saw, that the test side is just for West Indies. The ODI squad is just for England. So you bear in mind that the conditions are going to be English, but also bear in mind who's in the squad. So the biggest surprise is Abdullah Shafiq, obviously back in there as well. Not sure why, but okay, fair enough. He is a talented player, just not sure whether he'll play and whether he should play. Salman Aliaga is in there again, gives you a little bit with the bat as well. Should he be in there? Not sure. Saj Shakil is in there. Again, like that. Let's see if he gets a go. And then we've got people like Haris Sahel, who's a big, big inclusion back in. Good to see him come back in. I'm really excited to see him. I think we really miss someone in the middle order like Haris Sahel. We have a very weak middle order in both white ball formats, ODI and T20. So to have Haris Sahel back in is a huge plus. Very stable, and he's just someone who's steady, and we need someone like that in there. And then you've got the usual suspects, or even, I mean, Fakhr Zaman obviously being in some very good form. Mohammad Nawaz, no Imad Wasim. And the reason why that's surprising is because when you go into the T20 squad, you'll see that he's in there. Now, he's got a very good ODI record, arguably a better ODI record than T20 record, both equally pretty good. So a bit weird to me. A bit weird to me. No Rahel Nazir, by the way, in the ODI or Test squad as well. Would you want him instead of Safraz for experience? I don't know. Much to muchness. Depends what you want, I guess. And then we've got the Pakistan T20 squad. Now, this is where we have, as I said, and you can see that picture of Imad Wasim just celebrating. Well, definitely appealing. Did you get the wicket? I don't know. You guys tell me. But Imad Wasim is back in. Really, really good to see him back in. Arshad Iqbal comes back in as well. He played that one-off T20 against Zimbabwe. Good to see him in there. And the biggest surprise to me is Azam Khan. Now, I'm going to touch upon him a little bit more in depth because it's a weird one for me, which I'll touch upon in a second. But apart from that, you've got Shajil Khan in there. They're still looking to see whether he can do a little bit. Obviously, he's very much, I don't know, I feel like they want a couple more games to see whether he's good enough to play for Pakistan at the top of the order. But the issue is with Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, the top two, and Fakhr Zaman seem to have done a decent job at three. I would probably go just with Fakhr Zaman and Mohammad Rizwan opening and Babar Azam at three, but I don't know. I don't think it really matters, that combination, too much, but they need to really just nail it on sooner rather than later. Mohammad Wasim Jr. as well retains his place in the squad, which is interesting to see whether he'll get a go or a chance at some point. And yeah, the Azam Khan one, let's just touch upon that then, because the rest of them, I mean, look, the usual suspects for me. Azam Khan, I've said this quite a lot. I think it's too early to pick him in an 11 for an international game for Pakistan. Yeah, I do understand that Pakistan do have a weak underbelly in terms of their middle order, but that doesn't mean that you just throw in a guy to the slaughter to say, go on, swim, basically, because we're struggling as a team. And that sounds really silly to say when you think about it, but they need to be thinking about the welfare of the player more than the team at this point. And the reason why I say that is because he's not an experienced player who might be able to come in, do a little bit of a job, and then if he doesn't do well and his confidence gets broken a little bit, or like, he doesn't look like he's good enough, then you just drop him and it's fine. You don't have to ever see him again. No. He's someone who is playing franchise cricket around the world. He seems like he's a pretty good finisher. He's got ability, but he's not the finished article. He's very raw still. I feel like there's quite a lot that he can work on with his game, and he is with his game, with his fitness as well, which I know that he's still continually working on. He is a hard worker. What I'm not adverse to is having him in the squad. So to have him in the squad is not a bad idea. And I think the fact they've got him in the squad, okay, fine. Again, I'm not going to say to you, you cannot have him in the squad. What I would say, though, however, is do not play him. This sounds crazy because you say, well, hold on, he's in the squad. And normally I'll have a go at people saying, well, why are you not playing him in a match if you're going to pick him in the squad. Now, that's what you'd normally say. Well, I would normally say, really. I would say, what's the point of taking him along, right? But in this case, I think it's not a bad idea. It's his first time getting picked for Pakistan, and I think it's a good idea to just, again, go and carry out the drinks, go and have a look at the pitch, see how people build their innings, see how Babar Azam plays, see how Mohammad Rizwan plays, go and see how Imad Wasim even plays in the T20s as well, because he'll most likely be that finisher role for us. Let's see how he goes in terms of just picking up experience. Mohammad Hafiz as well. Now, that's the biggest thing for me. And something that I forgot to mention as well about a squad. Obviously, Azam Shafiq in the Test squad. He struggled when Pakistan moved him from 6 to 5 and 4, and clearly his form deteriorated from there. Now, there is an argument to say, should they play him at 6 and just see whether he can rekindle that form? I think it's not a surprise they haven't picked him. I wasn't expecting them to. Should they, however? I think it's a bit harsh and maybe premature for them to drop him in the first place. But now that they've committed to it, I would be surprised if they go back to him unless he's in phenomenal form. The only issue that I have is you don't necessarily have anyone like that in the Test squad who's super steady. We've got Fardalan, but there's no one after that. Now, that's the biggest issue for me. So, yeah, let's see. But on the T20 squad, this is England and West Indies. So we've got them for both. And then very briefly, I'm just going to go through these, not go through them, but just quickly show you as well what the two squads. So that's obviously the Test squad that we just touched upon with Naseem Shah, and then we've got here the ODI squad as well. So very interesting picks as well for Pakistan. Some omissions. So if we look at the Test squad, there's no Dabish Khan as well. So clearly they just gave him that one cap and that's it. Is that the right move? I mean, was he a fill-in? Probably, because there are a couple of injuries, but he's got so many wickets in Pakistan. Should he give him one more go? Maybe just see what he's like. I don't know. He is obviously a bit older. Probably you won't get 5 years out of him, but maybe it's just a little. I don't know, a little too late maybe for him, which is an interesting one. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please do remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. It really does help the channel to grow. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and of course the notification bell as well to get alerted to all new videos. What I would say is that Pakistan have an opportunity here, especially in the white ball stuff, because the T20 World Cup hopefully will be going ahead, to really get to grips with the side that they want to pick in the T20s and kind of just nail it down. So hopefully they can do that. But yeah, guys, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.